Hey you guys, and welcome back to Start With Him. So today's video, I want to talk about Jesus walking on water and how we can walk on the water as well. So I'm going to start off with the passage in Matthew about walking on water. And as a little background, this was right after Jesus fed the 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He fed 5,000 men. That's not including women and children. So that's a lot of people to feed with just a little amount of food. And so anyway, this is Matthew 14 verses 22 through 33. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. When he had sent the multitudes away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now when evening came, he was alone there, but the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went to them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a ghost." And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." So he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But he saw that the wind was boisterous. But when he saw the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him, and said to him, "O you of little faith, why do you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." So, y'all, this is crazy. Walking on water, I just think about that, that's actually insane. But Jesus, he was the Son of God. He had the power to do this. He had power. It says later that he made the wind stop. He made the waves calm down. He had power over the wind and sea and over everything because he is God. He is the Son of God. He is one of the 3 persons of the Trinity. So he's over all, everything obeys him, and he has this power to walk on water. And guess what? He granted that to Peter, one of his disciples, to walk on water, to come to him, because he had the power to do it. Peter didn't have it, but God did, and he granted this to him so that Peter could come and see and be comforted that it was him, it was Jesus. This wasn't like a ghost that they were scared of. This was really Jesus, and Peter desired to know it was Jesus. So Jesus granted this to let Peter come to him. And the storm, look, think about it. Peter, he walked on water as he was keeping his eyes on Jesus. But look, when he saw that the wind was boisterous, that the waves were scary, it says earlier that they were tossed by the waves, and it was like a storm, and it was really scary probably, and the wind was howling. And the moment he took his eyes off Jesus and he looked at the wind, he sank. And I feel like that has so much symbolism to now, how we can have these problems, these things in life, and the moment we take our eyes off of God and off of the security that he gives us, then we're sinking, we're doubting, we're this, we're that. Peter was saying, "Lord, save me," because he thought he was perishing, because he was sinking because he focused on the wind instead of focusing on Jesus. And that is such a crucial thing in every day, to not focus on the bad things, not focus on this. Because I know personally that I can use an example with schoolwork. If I have a lot of schoolwork to do and I'm just focusing on, oh my gosh, I have so much schoolwork to do, I have to get it done, I have to do this, I have to do this, then I just start stressing and start freaking out instead of just focusing on, hey, it's gonna be okay, God is gonna provide. He gave me this time to do it. Why don't, instead of worrying about it, I just go ahead and do it? And like that could be used in everyday life. The moment we take our eyes off of God and we look at other problems, we start thinking about ourselves. How can I fix this? How can I do it? And that stresses me out, and I bet that stresses you out too. When you focus on yourself, you're like, oh, but I have to solve this. How do I solve it? What do I do? What do I do? You know, it's like, it's stressful because we're putting it all on ourselves when we really weren't meant to. We were really meant to put it on Jesus, look at Jesus and be like, hey, God, I know you see me. I know you have this and you see this problem, and I know you're going to get me through it. And then I'm going to do it with your strength in my hands. So keep our eyes on Jesus every day, even in the most difficult times, even on every situation. If we keep our eyes on God, we're truly just going to be so much more at peace, because we know even though some things are stressful, they're hard, they're this, they're that, God has got us. And it's hard at times. It's hard to just let that go, that we have to control it. But the more we just like give it to God and just let him handle it, the more satisfied, the more comforted we're going to be. And even though Peter was doubting and he sank, he said, as soon as he called out to God, he said immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him. Jesus wasn't like fumbling around like, oh, how do I save him? He knew that my child needs to be saved. I have to go save him, because he chose to doubt. He chose to look at the wind and not me, but I'm still going to catch him. I'm still going to save him because he is mine. I'm not going to let him perish. And as soon as we focus on ourselves, we just have to humble ourselves and be like, hey, Jesus has got this. Let's ask Jesus for help. Let's pray on this. Let's meditate on this. Let's ask God to give us wisdom, ask him to give us help, because we cannot do it. We cannot do it by ourselves, but God can. Let's pray on this. Let's find God's peace in this, because we can find God in every situation, and we can find him because he is our light. He is walking on water. He is the light in the storm. We just have to focus on him and give it to him. And he was saying, like, why are you even doubting? Why are you worried? Why were you looking at the wind instead of looking at me? And even though he still saved Peter, because he knew that Peter needed him, even though he willingly chose to look at the wind instead of Jesus. And even in Matthew 8, chapter 8, verses 23 through 27, this is like before this happened, that the disciples also got on a boat and there was a storm, but this time Jesus was with them. And I'm going to read this. Now when he got into a boat, his disciples followed him, and suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with waves, but he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we are perishing. But he said to them, why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. So the men marveled, saying, who can this be, that even the winds and the sea obey him? So the part that we were reading where Jesus walked on water, this was the second time that there was a storm, and the disciples were worried, and they were like scared. They were honestly scared that they were saying that we're perishing. And the first time Jesus was with them, but he was asleep, and the second time Jesus wasn't. And it just shows how he was testing their faith. He was like growing their faith, because think about it, if this didn't happen, do you think that the disciples would have been like, maybe not as faithful, but like they wouldn't have learned basically their lesson as much. They wouldn't have known that, hey, Jesus has got this. And like both times, he calmed the sea, and he has a power over every situation, every storm, every battle. He has got the power and control. And we just have to let that worry go and just focus on him. Just focus on him, because he has got the storm. But if we're not willing to let it go, then that's when we begin to sink. That's when we begin to crumble, to begin to worry. So that just shows like we need God. And he's going to use these storms to strengthen us, because I bet you the disciples were strengthened after they saw this. I bet you they were like, why were we even worried? Especially the second time, they were probably like, why were we even worried when even the first time he delivered us? And even after all these miracles he's done, all this power that he has, why were we even worried? I mean, of course he's gonna save us because he loves us, he calls us his. And even though at times we can be unfaithful, he's still gonna save us. You know why? Because we're his children and because he loves us so, so, so much. So I just really want to encourage you guys, focus on Jesus. And that's for me too. I need to focus on Jesus in every storm, because no matter how windy, no matter how scary, no matter how this or that, Jesus has control over it all. There's no situation that he can't fix or that he doesn't have control. Jesus has got it all. And if we're focusing on ourselves, then that's when we sink. But when we're focusing on Jesus, that's when we find our peace. That's when we walk on water. When we have faith, true faith, and we know that God is going to deliver us no matter what. And so just focus on Jesus no matter what, and let him be your peace and your strength. So I hope you guys just truly, like felt God and just felt the conviction that like I don't have to worry because God is here. So again, I'm gonna say one more time, focus on Jesus and let him guide you throughout it all. Just let him be the light in your storm. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.